तुषार हार धवला या शुभ्र वस्त्रावृता या वीणा वरदांड पंडित करा या श्वेत पद्मासना या ब्रह्मा ज्योत शंकर प्रभृति देव सदा वंदिता सामा पातु सरस्वती भगवती निशेष जाड्यापः निशेष जाड्यापः निशेष
Now, India Atithi Devo Bhava. First of all, in the embassy of Federal Republic of Ethiopia, we'd like to honor His Excellency, Ambassador of Ethiopia, Excellency. We request you to please come. Mr. Malhotra. We can have a clapping. His Excellency, Ambassador of Belarus, Excellency, Kapilji. Thank you, Excellency. We have our new Ambassador of Angola, Excellency. I would request Mr. Tank. Thank you. We have our friend from Embassy of Ukraine, please. I would request Shobhaji. Yes, please, Excellency from Algeria, please. You're welcome. We have Mr. Praful Bakshi, Wing Commander Praful Bakshi. We have our friend from Eritrea, our member Priya, please come forward. Now we have our Mr. K.L. Malhotra, founder of Indo-Ethiopia Friendship Society and General Secretary of ICHR, to give introductory remarks.
On behalf of GTTC and Indo-Ethiopia Friendship Society, I would like to welcome you all Indo-Ethiopian society came into existence in 1903 or 4. One minister from Ethiopia came here, and Mr. Taketal was the ambassador. He requested Ambassador Taketal to have an Indo-Ethiopia Friendship Society. So the society was constituted.
Now we'd like to hear from the ambassador of Ethiopia, His Excellency Mr. Dimeke Afalu. Excellency, welcome and share your views.
Good evening, dear my colleagues, Ambassador of Belarus, Ambassador of Angola and Algeria, and the senior diplomats from South Sudan and Eritrea. Dear very good friend of Ethiopia for last more than 3-4 decades, and the Vice President of Indo-Ethiopia Friendship Society, the President of Global Trade and Technology Council, Dr. Gupta, all who had come here today to attend this very important and momentous event. On behalf of the Embassy of Ethiopia, Federal Democratic Ethiopia in New Delhi, I welcome you to Ethiopian House in Delhi. And I would like also to express my sincere gratitude and appreciation for the global Dr. Gupta for organizing this important international event today in honor of recognizing the contribution of peoples of African descent to the human beings. As we are today celebrating this People Day, International Day of People of African Descent, it's mainly aimed, the day is aimed, we are celebrating it because it was aimed to eliminate, all manifestation of discrimination directed against individuals of African descent. It is also, the day was also being observed mainly not only to eliminate that kind of manifestation discrimination, but also to reinforce the commitment of the peoples of the world, including the United Nations and government of all across the world, to empower peoples of African descent economically, politically, socially, and go on. It is a day where also all peoples of the world, including the governments and the non-governmental organizations, had to recommit themselves to ensure social justice, equality, peace, and prosperity for peoples of African descent all over the world. As you know very well, peoples of African descent represent mosaic of culture, tradition, and values. You see all over the world, when you see the peoples of African descent, because of this mosaic culture, language, value, tradition, they have contributed immensely to the multicultural richness of the world. If you go all over the world, the contribution of African peoples of African descent for multiculturalism of the whole world is because of their immense, unmeasurable, unparalleled contribution of peoples of African descent. Not only peoples of African descent, they have also made an immeasurable contribution for the development in terms of not only culture, but in economical, political, technological advancement of the world today. Not only that, as you know, the peoples of African descent had also contributing immensely for the political development of every country where they are living today, all over the world. So we are today celebrating this platform, the date, is to serve as a platform where we can spotlight the exceptional contributions of peoples of African descent on various sectors for the human faith in this globe. The contributions they have made for human faith in different aspects, culturally, economically, politically, technologically, it's going on. They have made exceptional contributions. Not only were, saying racism, that eliminating racism, that, but the positive contribution of peoples of African descent for the human development today is so important and crucial, and that is what we are also today celebrating, that contribution. While saying that, let me say a few things about also African descent in India. Peoples of African descent came to India during the Arab slave trade in early 7th century, primarily by Arabs, gradually by the Portuguese, and by the British, as the Indo-Ethiopian Friendship Society president was said. It's not because of, industrialization. Even before the industrialization, the first peoples of African descent had arrived to India. They are being called as Habashis, the name which was attached with Ethiopia, Abyssinians here in India. They were being called as Sidis and sometimes Kafaris. They were given different names since 7th century AD. Now today you can find them mainly in 4 states, in Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, and Goa, who came at early 7th century. You can see the contribution of Africans, especially, the Habashis, Abyssinians, Sidi, whatever you name, how they had contributed also for the cultural richness of India, for the advancement of India in every aspect. So that is why I would like, when we are talking generally, coming to Ethiopia. Here, it would be a remiss of me if I don't mention one of the famous people of this African descent who arose from the status of slave trade to become the king, the general of the army in India during the Mughal times, and become the king of Chandigarh. You know the name? Malik Ambakar. You know Malik Ambakar. He was an Ethiopian. He was born in mid-16th century. He was taken from Ethiopia, eastern part of Ethiopia, to Middle East as slaves, to Baghdad, and he came back to India. They bring him to India. And from India, from the status of slave trade, he joined the army, the administration instructor, and rose in the army because of his talent, cunning, strength, to the top level of the army. And he became the chief of the army during the Mughal times. And he mastered, guerrilla warfare with the Mughalian empires, subdued them, and became the king of that region during that time. So you can see how during the 16th century, an Ethiopian slave trade came as a slave, grown up, shown an strength, and goes up to the area, to the top of the general, and became the king of the army. His tomb can be found today in Arunagar. You can see since 16th century. It is not only in 16th century how the slaves not only contributing rose to the state, to the power. In America, African origin, the very latest, Obama, to become the president of the American States. It's not American, it is today. But if you go to history, if you study history, if you research them, you can find a number of Malik Ambars who had made significant contribution to the peoples, to the countries where they were residing. So, This is a day when we have to recognize their contributions. Having said that, today I met a number of Indians who were born in Ethiopia. Very lucky. Welcome to your home again. This is your home. And also all others who had been born in Africa to celebrate this African Day. In this day, as you were born in Ethiopia and living in India or born in Africa, you have a profound knowledge of Ethiopian history, culture, the way of life, and the psychic. You have a duty bound obliged to teach, to educate Indians among yourselves what Ethiopia is, the history, the language, the culture, the religion, the way of life, similar of, food cuisine and so on. You should not only your profound knowledge, your positive attitude, your positive views, your positive expressions, attitude about Ethiopia and Africa, coupled with your emotional attachment to your country where you were born, you can play pivotal role in promoting mutual understanding between Indians and Ethiopians. You can educate Indians about Ethiopia. You can create a mutual understanding. By doing so, you can bring peoples to people's ties, cultural ties, and promote the cultural relation between the two countries. You can serve as being agent of tourism. Ethiopia offers. Indians outbound tourism is to the Europe. Why not Africa? We are offering different kind of tourism, historical tourism, cultural tourism, heritage tourism. Try to take them. Be an agent of tourism, be an agent of trade for Ethiopia and Africa, and contribute, be a catalyst in promoting Ethiopian and Indian peoples to people's ties. And thank you very much for all for coming here, and rest assured our continued support in this regard. And thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Excellency, for giving us a very remarkable speech and delivering and making us aware of the Africans who are doing great all across the world. And India is always have the great relationship with Africa and especially Ethiopia. Definitely, we'd like to visit more the place where you told the emperor has ruled from Ethiopia. Chandigarh, you were saying? Yes, this is a new thing for us, and definitely we'll explore. And now time for again Namita to perform. We'll have a small break, then we'll have word from our Excellency and our friend from South Sudan want to leave early. So with the permission of Excellency, we'll allow you.
जय जय जग जग शशि रवि भूषण रूप भयंकर डमरुग हस्त तृतीय सहस्र दीक्षित नाद नटेश कौतुमं
We'd like to invite His Excellency Ambassador of Belarus to share his views for 2 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you. For me, it's a great pleasure to be a part of this celebration, of this ceremony. I absolutely agree with Ambassador of Ethiopia, which mentioned that African people suffered a lot and they deserve a better life. Absolutely agree. I spent 5 years of my life in Africa. I visited a lot of countries, mostly southern region, but also I visited some Central African countries like, for example, Democratic Republic of Congo, Central African Republic, Uganda. And I see by my own eyes that people who are living in a very difficult condition, they're very friendly. They're very satisfied with the nature of what they are living. They do not satisfied with the condition because for many years they were in slavery. For many years they were in some other discrimination. I also agree with Ambassador of Ethiopia that it's necessary to eliminate all discriminations, all sanctions. Unfortunately, not all countries understand this, especially Western countries. And even some international organizations does not push these ideas just to eliminate all kind of discrimination and sanctions toward all countries into life. Just one example. It's not a good situation in the world now in terms of food security. But because of sanctions to some particular countries, I don't want to mention to which one. This food security situation is not improving. And I hope that all people in the world someday understand. If we are talking about elimination of some sanctions, some discrimination, it should be eliminated everywhere. So I hope that very soon the world will become more wise and wisdom will prevail. Thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency. Now I would like to request Ambassador of Angola. Just few lines from you. Thank you. DCM, like Miss South Sudan, please.
Thank you very much, Ambassador of Ethiopia, uh, His Excellency Lemeke, all the ambassadors, and founder of Global Trade and Technology Council, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Ambassador of the Republic of South Sudan in India, Ambassador Victoria Samolaru, I greet you all. My name is Thomas Kenneth Elisapana. I'm the Deputy Ambassador representing my ambassador here in this very important and historic occasion. I would like to add my voice to those who spoke before me to express my sincere gratitude to GTTCI and Ambassador of Ethiopia for organizing this historic day, which is very, very important. We as Africans, I think Ambassador has talked a lot and he has touched some historical and important points of history of Africans around the world, especially here in India. I just want to say the relations between African countries and India is at that very high level. Ethiopia as the seat of the African Union, this occasion is organized here. I think it has a meaning. It's very, very important. We are proud of that as Embassy of the Republic of South Sudan. I don't want to talk much about that. Only Ambassador has mentioned very important point about the issues of discrimination around the world, in the Western world, against Africans. I think Africans, they are very important at the same time. They have so many contributions, as mentioned by Ambassador. And at the same time, African continent, by the way, is very, very rich. It's a God-gifted continent. Most of the resources in Africa are untapped and are well known. And Africans, yes, they have so many issues, but they need to be helped. Though they have so many contributions, Africans, by the way, I want to make some one important point about this issue of discrimination. With the roles Africans are doing around the world, international community, I think Africa as the large continent with a lot of resources, and most of its resources are untapped, they deserve to be a member of United Nations Security Council. This one is very, very, very important to avoid this issue, to reduce or to minimize the so-called discriminations against Africa and something like that. South Sudan and India, they have very wonderful bilateral relations, and it is going well, and we are very proud of that. Indians are doing very well in South Sudan. Indians contributed a lot in peace process, and we have Indian troops are there in peace under United Nations peacekeeping force, and we hope to.
Although we like to G20, India has the proud presidency of G20. So our member AP Sridhar from Chennai has made a beautiful book of painting on G20, 40 countries in single line drawing. So I would like to present to Excellency and like to have Ambassador here to release the book. Please Excellency and all diplomats please join here. We have our friend, our member Sumit Goel, who has been to Ethiopia and doing so much trade with African countries. Like to share 2 lines, please.
Thanks, respected dignitaries, ambassadors. I just want to share my experience with Ethiopia and other African countries. We have talked a lot about the challenges which were faced by African region, but now the time has changed. Now the time has come for Africa, because if anybody wants to do business and wants to grow the business, African continent is the right place right now, and this is the right time for that. I'm being an export consultant, and I'm consulting several Indian companies for exports, and I've been to more than 50 countries. Recently, I was in Kenya with the help and support of GTCI. So we have closed some projects related to power sector. I would just want to share my experience with Ethiopia. I've been to Ethiopia a number of times. I stay there, Dreamliner Hotel, Mescal Flower Road. That's the place. The people are very, very friendly. It's a very safe country. People are very friendly. And there are a lot of Indians who have made a lot of investments in Ethiopia in agriculture, and they are doing big businesses there. So I just want to share that now it's a time to look into Africa as the next investment destination, to go to Africa for next business destination. The time has come for Africa to rise now, and the real growth for businesses and for every business, every opportunity for investment is now, right now in Africa. So I would like to thank Gauravji, GTCI, for giving us this forum so that we can interact with ambassadors of Africa and other nations, and we can grow business together. Thank you.
Just for your information, Global Trade and Technology Council of India is spreading its wings. We are opening a chapter in Mumbai, Maharashtra chapter, on 2nd of September. We have invited all the diplomats and friends. We have got few members from the different industries and different cities of Maharashtra, Mumbai, Nasik, Pune, Nagpur. The members all joining there on 2nd of September at Holiday Inn. You are most welcome. You are all invited. And Ambassador of Brunei, Chile, and Lesotho, and diplomats from Belarus, Russia, many countries are Mauritius are joining there. So we need your blessing and support always, and we will taking to different parts of India, then world obviously, and our magazine is carrying the articles from every month from different embassies and different countries. So our members are very powerful, who are into different trades, different services, and education sector, medical sector. So Africa is a next home for Indians to do business. So we invite everybody to join hands with GTCI and let's grow together. So at the towards the end, I would request our Wing Commander Praful Bakshi to say a few lines and vote of thanks before IT.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure for me to be here and amongst the luminaries from Africa. I would like to tell you that I have been to Africa a number of times, 7, 8 times to Ethiopia, been to Sudan, I've been to Eritrea, I've been to so many other places. I've been training their air forces, actually from International Committee of Red Cross. I'm a humanitarian law instructor. And what I found out when I went to Ethiopia, I found that it was absolutely unbelievable in goodness. I could not make out that people could be so nice and good. Believe you me, I'm not exaggerating, I know it. And the beauty of the whole thing is that The Air Force kept inviting me again and again, much to the dismay of my organization, International Committee of Red Cross, but they couldn't help it. But what I'm now trying to tell you, I have found out, and you all know it, that most of the resources of the world come from Africa. Please understand, the all the gold, the minerals, the diamonds, you talk of anything, it all goes to Africa. But very strange, all the aid also goes to Africa. It should be the other way around. I personally don't know how they have managed it. French President Jacques Chirac had admitted in 2008 that if there was no if the aid was not coming from Africa, $500 billion they get from Africa from various resources. If that was not there, then France will be a third world country, even at the bottom level of that. That is what it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, in 1947, when the movement was started by Prime Minister Nehru, late Prime Minister Nehru, of joint development of Asia Africa, he started it. There was one week, full meeting, 7 days in Delhi at that time, but due to Bandung conference, etc., the things got separated. And that is where it is restarting. Again, people are thinking in terms of joining. The African Union and the Asia Pacific Union must join together, not only to develop together industrially, economically, commercially, tourism angle, every angle, including space, including cyber, and including security. Well, let me tell you, let the exploiters not exploit us again, and let it be. I'm a very straight speaker. This should go firm, clear, and straight that if we have to survive, African Union, Asian Pacific Union must get together, and this is the starting time. Very auspicious day. Thank you very much. I'm so happy that Mr. Kaur has invited me for here, and I will request him to give the word of thanks. I'm extremely thankful to our ambassador of Ethiopia and all other friends who have, taken this effort to organize this. But more than that, to my friend Gaurav, that he has brought this organization, and he has brought his efforts are showing beautifully. And I personally feel we all must give him a big hand.
No, not all of you.
And now I thank our ambassador of Ethiopia, and I am very happy that I am here, and I would like to now, express my deep gratitude to him, and please give him a big hand once again. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Wing Commander Praful Bakshi ji. We have left your gift. Excellency, please come in the middle again. And we have our friend from Sharmila Singh from Ahmedabad and Mumbai. Sharmila, please present to His Excellency.
मेरा नाम विंग कमांडर प्रफुल्ल बख्शी है और मैं वैसे ह्यूमैनिटेरियन लॉ का इंस्ट्रक्टर हूँ और डिफेंस एक्सपर्ट हूँ, पर मैं आपको आज के दिन के बारे में ये बताना चाहता हूँ कि ये जो आज का दिन है, जिसको कि इन्होंने इंटरनेशनल डे और अफ्रीकन डिसेंट, कंट्रीज़ ऑफ अफ्रीकन डिसेंट बताया है, इसका बहुत महत्व है। आपको हमें पता होना चाहिए कि सन 47 में भारत के प्रधानमंत्री प्राइम मिनिस्टर नेहरू ने एफ्रो एशियन मूवमेंट स्टार्ट किया था, जिसकी 7 दिन की मीटिंग हुई थी कि अफ्रीकन और एशियन कंट्रीज़ इकट्ठे मिल के आगे बढ़े, ताकि जो दुनिया की कंट्रीज़ एक्सप्लॉइट करती हैं, हमारा फ़ायदा उठाती हैं, वो ना उठा पाएँ। पर वो मूवमेंट बैंडिंग कॉन्फ्रेंस के कारण नहीं चल पाई, पर अब स्टार्ट हो गया है। जितनी एक्सप्लॉइटेशन हो रही है अफ्रीकन कंट्रीज़ की जो कर रहे हैं, आपको ताज्जुब होगा, फ्रांस जैसी कंट्री $500 बिलियन हर साल अफ्रीका से निकाल के ले जाती है। अगर वो ना हो, फ्रांस थर्ड वर्ल्ड कंट्री बन जाए। इसलिए मैं आपको ये बोलने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ कि इसको सबसे ज़्यादा महत्व देना चाहिए। भारत अफ्रीकन कंट्रीज़ के साथ मिलके जॉइंट इंडस्ट्रीज़, जॉइंट टूरिज़्म, जॉइंट साइंटिफिक डेवलपमेंट, साइबर, जो भी हो, और शिपिंग, ट्रेड, सब कुछ, और इवन जॉइंट सिक्योरिटी की बात सोचें, ताकि अब बाहर वाला हमको एक्सप्लॉइट ना कर पाए और हम आगे बढ़ सकें, तरक्की कर सकें।
Myself, Dr. Gaurav Gupta. I am the founder president of Global Trade and Technology Council of India. Today, along with India Ethiopia Friendship Society, हम लोगों ने इथोपिया एम्बेसी के प्रांगण में, इनके हॉल में इंटरनेशनल अफ्रीका डिसेंट डे मनाया, जिसमें इंडिया में अफ्रीका के इथोपिया के एम्बेसडर ने हमारे को ये मौका प्रदान किया। और हम लोग आज अफ्रीका देशों का जो विश्व में योगदान है उसका हमने एक यहाँ पे आज याद किया और उसमें अपने श्रद्धा सुमन प्रस्तुत किए। सेकेंडली, आज का एक प्राउड मोमेंट है कि अफ्रीका के डिफरेंट लीडर्स यहाँ से, डिफरेंट एम्बेसडर प्रेजेंट थे। एम्बेसडर ऑफ अंगोला, एम्बेसडर ऑफ अल्जीरिया, एम्बेसडर ऑफ बेलारूस, उसके अलावा साउथ सूडान, यूक्रेन और एरिट्रिया के डिप्लोमेट भी यहाँ आए। आज हमारे जो प्रोग्राम रखा, इसका एक अलग महत्व है। अफ्रीका के देशों के साथ इंडिया की जो रिलेशनशिप है उसका बहुत महत्व है, और इथोपिया के साथ जो हमारा रिलेशन है सांस्कृतिक भी है, हिस्टोरिकल भी है, बिजनेस टाइज भी है। तो ये आज एक नया पहल हमने करी है, इस एम्बेसी में शुरुआत की है, और हम धन्यवाद करते हैं इस एम्बेसडर का, एक्सीलेंसी का, कि जिन्होंने ये हमें मौका दिया।